Hi, Recessionista. You are the very first person here. You must be the only one to get notified or something, because you always be first in. Why I can't see my live? Where is my live? How are you today? How are you this Tuesday? I know I'm surprising y'all. When was the last time I came on a Tuesday? Oh, months. Might be a year. Okay, here we go. Hi, Janice. Well, I can't see tonight. Lovecraft? Uh, yeah, I thought that I would pop in, have a little chit chat, then pop on back out, because I need to make up my bed and all that good stuff. What's on my mind? Well, you know I had some topics. That's why I came on. I was gonna save them, but y'all know I'm not flighty. I can be fickle. I can be fickle. I know that. So yeah, just so that you know, Deborah can be fickle. My channel should be Fickle Deborah. Deborah the Fickle. I don't know. Did y'all see Parker's little cute little short? He's been kind of tired. Today was his first day at Jurassic Park camp. And it's worth the money. I hadn't had any barking since he got home because homeboy was just tired. Hi, Colin is calling Slays. I just said hi. Okay, so I have a few topics or things that I wanted to hit on. One is, well, at first let me preface with this. I know that you all, we started with the McNasty, and I might go over there tonight while I'm making up my bed and see if she's doing anything. I don't know. Y'all told me she redoing Miss Charlene's room. I'm sure I can find something funny to talk about. But, well, if you've been here early on, and I kind of told people I'm very analytical. I'm one of these people that I have to be able to think. I have to be able to learn new things. I have to be able to study. I'm very much into documentaries. I'll probably watch them more than movies. I just, cerebral, that's the word. Hi, new grad. And so I have to be able to be stimulated mentally. So for me just to watch people like her, it don't do nothing for me. Matter of fact, it drives me crazy. So I'm always learning something new or doing something new or just watching stuff just for the knowledge. And when I was in school, which I'm thinking, I only got one more year to finish my doctorate. I'm really thinking about going back. Because otherwise, I am driving y'all crazy with wanting to talk about stuff that everybody may not want to talk about. I'm very much into not necessarily politics, but the politics of things. Hi, Polly. Oh, I decided to surprise you and come in on a Tuesday. Hi, Annabelle. Polly's been here, Lovecraft. You the one that ain't been here. Polly been here. So, in saying all that, y'all kind of forgive me. I'm sure either you know people that may be a little bit like me or you might be like me. I know there's a few people that be in the chat that are like me. So, did y'all see where the what's it? Controller for the state, or the city of New York, or the state of New York, ICE just chanked him up, handcuffed him, and actually took him to. Did y'all see that? Did y'all, that happened today, and Yeah, I don't understand it, and this is so wrong. People who are pretty much at the end of their process of becoming, a U.S. citizen, to be with them and support them because people are afraid to even go out their house. Excuse me. So stop it. I don't know why I'm buffering. Is somebody trying to somebody trying to mess with me tonight? Oh, I know y'all be busy, so I truly appreciate the time you spend with me. Maybe I can get this out before. I don't know why my channel's buffering tonight. But anyway, they arrested the guy and simply because he was trying to help somebody with their immigration. But I heard some really interesting things today. Did you know that there are like over 600,000 Caucasian immigrants here? Now, be some, because there's people from all countries that come here and don't finish the process. And they may get married, they stay here, if anybody messing with you, they ain't looking for you, you do what you do. But why is it that our ICE agents are not harassing them? Could they not be criminals? I mean, they're here illegally too. Why is that? Why is it that it's only people that got some tint to them that's being carted up like animals and being put in places where they don't have water, maybe don't have food? I mean, who does that in the United States? Now see, I just bragged on Parker. Parker, come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. So I found that, quite interesting how our government is not. What happened to my can't see. Oh, somebody reported me for what? I ain't even started yet. Good. But the thing that really hurt my feelings is that I was learning about how I never really knew about ICE. Really, I have heard the lingo, but I really never, was concerned about what it was they did. So apparently they were created after 9/11, to pick up Arab people after that. Have y'all heard that 9/11 was a hoax? It wasn't true. Have y'all heard that theory out there? Oh, she's drinking beer tonight. Why y'all ain't talking back to me? Have y'all heard that conspiracy theory that 9/11 never happened? Well, yeah, that's what they say. I don't understand how that could possibly be a hoax. So somebody tell me how they pulled it off. How they pulled it off. And why? Just to be doing something, killing that many people? That doesn't make no sense. But anyway, ICE was created for that situation. And now, I guess since they're not after Arab people anymore, they're after supposedly immigrants. But the thing that really got me was that when they arrested this gentleman today, ICE does not have the right to arrest anybody. They have no legal right to arrest anybody, just so you know. If they happen to arrest somebody, or whatever, you can sue because they do not have the right. Congress did not give them the ability to be able to arrest or detain anybody. They did put them out, talking about where they were eating the dogs and cats. Yeah, wait a minute. They pushed them out of there, Lovecraft, when there was a company there, I forget what they made, but it was a big plant, and they were losing employees. They couldn't get the people that lived in the town to want to work there. So they actually went to, what was it, Cuba? I want to say they were from Cuba. Something like that. Hades. And made contracts with the Haitian government to have immigrants come over, and they were on work visas. And they were helping them get a place because they wanted them to work in the plant. And then they could work towards their citizenship if they wanted to, but a lot of them were just working to make enough money and they were going to go back home. I cannot believe they had ICE come in and send these people back when they went and got them. Oh my God. Yeah, and that's against the law, because my thing is this, just like with the 4 people, we did talk about that, didn't we? About the 4, government officials, 2 got unalived and 2 are in the hospital. The wife's been talking with Mr. Nutcase, that's 57, and now, y'all help me out. Apparently him and the wife wasn't together, because he had a roommate. And that's who he sent a message to, and the roommate was reading it. But they found the wife with money, passports. She had all kind of shit that I guess she was taking to meet him. But y'all ain't together. Why are you helping him, ma'am? Because you ain't going to be with him for no more for the rest of his life. You might as well get divorced, because y'all will not be together. And if you get a little time for being an accomplice, you surely won't be seeing him. You won't get to visit him at all. You don't know. That's what they're saying. I did not know that they had another 2 people get unalived because of somebody impersonating an ICE, what do they call? Are they officers? ICE agent. Because they just have their face covered. I think they have vests sometimes that say ICE, but they said the guy that did it bought his vest off of Amazon. So how the hell we know who coming to our door? Yeah, we could all get us some vests off of Amazon, cover up our face. Now, there ain't too many of us of color, I noticed, on the ICE team. But you can put a little makeup up here to lighten the skin. Put on some gloves. You're an ICE agent. And yeah, pretty much, you grab anybody you want. You can slap them in your car, take them across the border if you wanted to. That's crazy. If you notice, they wear masks so that you can't see, and they claim they do that so that they won't get retaliated against. Oh, well, if you quit coming out here scarfing people up off the streets and out of schools and churches and fields and Home Depots, then you wouldn't have that problem. I don't know. We got over 600,000 of them here, recessionista. Why aren't they picking them up? You telling me they can't be criminals? They're here illegally. Well, why they ain't getting them? And then on top of that, which I knew this was happening. I've been hearing so much about the children and I know you have to be a desperate parent to send your child over here by themselves. But the children that either come by themselves or get detached from their parents because they send their parents back or whatever the case may be. When the Orange Man was in office the last time, they had over 5,000 documented cases of Border Patrol and ICE doing things to children. And they didn't get prosecuted. Why? Because they're little immigrant children. It don't matter. Stuff like that makes me so mad. And Martina sent me something, and I had heard the story, but I didn't know how in-depth it was, because I be here, there, and everywhere looking at stuff. And y'all know I've been obsessed with the whole Diddy trial. So I looked at the footage she sent me, and I had seen where we had a lawmaker here who had gotten in trouble for S crimes with children. And so, come to find out, he was married, had kids, and he was literally going, he was going to an Asian country, and he was going there so that he could be with children under the age of 12. And then when he got caught with the pictures and the videos, he had downloaded like over 1,000 videos and pictures and all this stuff in 4 days. Because he was bringing it in and he was, passing it on to other people too. And he had his one of his fake names online was Joe Biden. But a lot of the pictures, because now everything is public, so you can go out there and get it. But I couldn't stomach looking at them. But with children from toddlers, 3 and 4 years old, up to 12, because he was in what they call pre-something, which is children right before the age of becoming adolescents. So like 10, 11, maybe 12 if they're small. And you're sitting up in here as a representative for us with a family, which I'm trying to figure out how these wives don't ever notice any of this stuff. Or do they know and they don't care? Because I have to say to myself, and maybe I was crazy, but even though I was married those 18 years, I still kept an eye on my ex. Not that he ever did anything, not that the children ever said he did anything, but I'm just not going to be out the loop if something is going on with them. And so I don't understand how these women are married to these men and you have children with them and your husband got to go overseas like every year without you and the children. I'm sure he said it was part of his job, but you never noticed. I don't know. I don't understand. Like there was this one lady, I forgot what state it was, but her husband was going out and getting young men, and he was literally burying them in their backyard. Because when they caught him, they were trying to figure out what he did with the bodies and dug up the backyard, and he had like 10 or 12 young people back there that he had buried. How you don't see your husband digging a hole big enough to put a body in? Come on. I don't understand. That's crazy. Why would you want to live with a person like that? I'm a single woman. It is not that hard. I was a single parent. Was there times that you didn't get everything you want? Hell yeah. But I'd rather struggle and get what I can to be able to make sure we got a roof over our head and lights and water and basic clothes and shoes than to live with somebody that's a perverted, Somebody said something happened to him, but I didn't go back and look. So supposedly he was poisoned in prison. And yes, I see that. I said I was going to look at that after I got off of here that, yeah, Mr. Man got another lawsuit, but guess what? This time it's not one of us. So he's probably going to maybe get a little time. See, y'all can thank the R and the Kelly for starting, was he the first? He was the first one to start doing something. Well, no, Bill had to go first. So Bill kind of was the precursor. Then R. Kelly. And then, what's his name went on the lam, and he's in another country right now. The one that was married to, what's her name? She had the kids by Diddy, the model. Her best friend, who was a model. That little short man she was married to. Wasn't he part of Run DMC or something like that? Hi, Peaches and Cream. Yeah, he skipped the country and went over across the water, but they say he'd be coming back. But, they ain't really looking for him hard right now. What is his name? There's a young girl that I've been watching for the Diddy trial, and what's her, the surprise witness, and then she has another, she does like true crime and stuff, but she has an interesting take on how all these people interact and how they are connected to each other, and showing how the picture is way bigger than Diddy. He being sued for what he normally be getting sued for, Lovecraft, messing with a young man. Yeah, that's what he's getting sued for. But it's a Caucasian young man. So he might get a little time. Russell Simmons, thank you, Karen. Thank you, thank you. Yes. Now, I didn't understand why the defense was showing FO videos today when they had the agent on there that was giving a timeline of how the money was flowing and they were using the money for FOs and flying folks in and all this stuff. They were trying to show the Rico, how he was taking people across state lines and money, and how I'd like to know when that woman KK, where's she at? Because she had her hands involved in everything that Diddy had going on. Where is she? She should have been arrested with him. She really should have. Gosh, the more I lose weight, the getting all that up in there. But yeah, they had to watch it for 30 minutes. But now wait a minute. This morning when they had the little young boy that got picked up with him, and he was they were looking for him, and he had sent his plane to another country, but he was actually in Florida getting on. I think he was getting on another plane. I don't know where he was going, but they called Diddy, and he had a few people with him, and he had the little young guy that carried his medication for him. Well, he pleaded the fifth, and they gave him immunity. So he was supposed to come on today. That's what I was waiting for, but he's not going to come on until tomorrow. I'm like, the defense is just dragging this out. But when he came in to give the fifth this morning, as Diddy being the one on trial, he has the right to be in there. So they went to go get him to see if he wanted to come in. And no, he didn't want to come in because he was watching the FO videos. I don't know, Sessionista. I didn't take it away. Why are they letting him watch the FOs? He was at the freaking FO. Why would he claimed that he needed to watch and see what they showed the jury. But you was at every FO. You know what y'all do, or the parts you can remember because you was high. I think he just wanted to get off this morning. I think he wanted to watch them FOs this morning so he could get his little rocks off. I don't know why these people won't live their truth. It's 2025. Why can't you just say who you are? I mean, you ain't even got to tell us. I think they get off on the power and doing it to people who they can't get. So that's just like, Diddy would not be in this, well, at least in this trouble, maybe some of the trouble, the money trouble he might have been in, but he wouldn't have had the sex part of it if he had just hired people to do what he wanted to do. Why he couldn't do that? Why he couldn't have the girlfriends and then hire somebody to do what he wanted? Yeah. Do y'all think Carisha was doing that stuff with him? What's her name? Something Miami? You talking about the really light-skinned, handsome guy that was in a lot of his movies and shows? What he wanted was, he has a show on Tubi. Yeah, he has a show on Tubi, and he wanted Tyler to undergird it or something like that, finance it, and he didn't want to, or either he was financing and he was going to take the money back. So he did that so he could get the money out of Tyler. So apparently it was true because Tyler paid him and then he shut up. Now, I'm not going to say that these people should not get compensated for people like that doing stuff to them, but you should have just went all the way with it. You should have told the truth of what really happened and told who it was and still got your money. Because I thought that was kind of like he was using the public, coming out here threatening that he wouldn't say who it was with this person here and now and all this stuff like that. And you knew exactly who it was. They knew everybody knew who it was. How many of y'all really thought that Tyler be dating women? Even with him having a child? He didn't sue him. Tyler gave him what he wanted. Tyler knew who he was talking about. Tyler paid him off. Sort of like what Diddy should have did with Cassie. Then we wouldn't have known all that. He should have just paid her off quietly. Yeah, he got money. We're not saying it's not true, Lovecraft. What we're saying is, once they came around and said, we will pay you to shut up, he took the money. He got paid to shut up. You know? So I'm like, well, how bad were you affected that you didn't want to take this as far as this should go so somebody else couldn't get hurt too, or harassed too? But it's just all about self. Which is pretty much what this country has gotten to. It's just about self. All about self. But I never thought that Tyler wanted women. Never did. I didn't care either. But I'm not a big fan of his. All his movies, me and my son were talking because he's a big movie buff like I am. And my thing is, why Tyler can't never make a movie with a successful woman? Why the black women ain't always got to be pitiful, single parents, and some man treating them bad, then another man come along like a knight in shining armor and rescue them, and then she's happy. Why she can't already have a job? Why she can't have a career? Why she can't already be taking care of her kids? And she meet a nice guy. Why the guys always got to be, horrible men? I don't get it. These people kill me. But yeah, when Cat Williams said that this was going to be the year of uncloaking and uncovering, he ain't never lied. He ain't never lied. I said I was going to go back and rewatch that Shay Shay. Oh, is it still up? Does Shay Shay still have his podcast? Since he in trouble too, I don't know. He was the hot thing going for a minute. They all had the same theme to me. I was never a big Medea fan either. Like my friends, when it was just the plays, they used to always want to go to the plays. I didn't want to go. I hate to say this, me and my son was talking about it, but people talk about me and they talk about him. Because they're like, do you watch Tubi? I don't watch Tubi. You know why that is, Peaches? Because those are the type men that he like. You always notice he have the most handsome men in his movies. I have to say that, he do. But they're usually men that he's attracted to. But how many of y'all watch Tubi? I don't know why these men won't. Oh, I never watch it. There's always or Reese used to love it. And he would sit and watch prison movie after prison movie after prison movie. And I'm just like, I do not want to spend my day watching folks being locked up and getting into fights and all this stuff. That's like Lifetime. I don't watch Lifetime. I don't want a whole day of women killing men or men killing women or... No. And there's nothing wrong with it. We all have our tastes. But I always notice that when I'm talking to other people of my persuasion, they're like, you don't watch Tubi? You don't support black media? That has nothing to do with it. With his big old self. I mean, my goodness, everybody knew when his assistant, he was having him go with him everywhere. You never seen him with women. I mean, I never seen a woman he was married to. I know he got 2 or 3 kids with her. But I guess The women he was messing with, he kept them under cloak because they were young. Oh, and this month is Mental Health Month for men. I think Paulie is our only man in the chat, unless there's some in the bushes. But if you have a male in your life, you know, check on him and his mental health, because men do not go and get the assistance they may need. They just keep it to themselves and go in their little cave, excuse me, and try to work things out. And y'all know I'm a big proponent for mental health and people getting the help they need. So this month is Mental Health Month for men, and we halfway through, and I'm just saying it, but yeah. All the Lifetime movies, my plan is in the way. Begin and end with the same way. Yeah. Hi, Cole, RS. Wait a minute, Lovecraft. I'm not saying that he didn't do philanthropy. I can't even say it. He didn't do good deeds. But on the other hand, he is SAing people that work for him. So does he get, you know, he don't get chastised like everybody else, or he don't have to toe the line like everybody else because he did good things? Maybe he did the good things to cover up the bad things he was doing. I mean, there's still something wrong there, that you're doing all those good things. I mean, he has done. A lot of actors would tell you that he's done good stuff. Matter of fact, there's somebody who was out of work and he helped take care of them. I forgot who it was. It wasn't Cicely Tyson. It was somebody else. Just like he paid for the funeral for Angie Stone. I'm not saying that he doesn't give back. But what I'm saying is, that other stuff he's doing, he needs to stop, because that's messing up all the good stuff that he's done. Allegedly. Well, when you have money like that, you can pay people off. Why do you think Diddy went 20 years or more before he's ever gotten caught? When you have money, you can pay people off to be quiet. There's too many times that people have come out and said that there was something going on. There's something there. Too many people have come out and said it. There's something there. What it all is, we don't know. But what I'm saying is, why mess up all the good you've done and the blessings that you've been given to do that when you could just live your truth? I don't understand how people get to that point with fame and power and money, and because they have this secret stuff. Hey, Martina, they have these secret addictions, or they have some stuff messed up in them, really. Why they don't get the help they need so that they don't mess up their legacy with that. I mean, look at Diddy's legacy. If you just look at the music side and taking away the fact that he didn't pay his artists the way he did, and all, he was able to collaborate, even though he wasn't the best rapper. He was able to put people together for them to be able to make the music. Now, if he had just been an upright person and actually paid his artists the way he did, he should have, and not stole from them and ripped them off for their gifts and talents, and not kept whatever this addiction he got going on. If he had went and got the help that he needs, then his legacy would be messed up. But now all stop buffering. Sorry guys, it seemed to be buffering again. Y'all see Taraji doing the whole Illuminati segment on the BET Awards? Well, she said she wasn't getting paid the way that she should have, and I didn't watch that. She what she was worth. ET award, so I don't know what exactly it is that she did. That could be so, Lovecraft. And would it still be SA? Yes. If you work for somebody and they SA'd you for years while you worked there, but you still got paid, and maybe they gave you raises because they were doing that, and you stayed, and maybe they elevated you and gave you higher positions, would that still not be considered SA because you got paid more and you got a higher position? Hey, Beverly. Well, you know, they supposed to say that they are gatekeepers, him and Oprah. Let me tell you something. That music, the whole entertainment genre has a very dark spirit surrounding it. I tried to explain to y'all the other day about how Lucifer was the prince of pretty much entertainment music. They didn't, I don't think they had movies and all that in heaven, but I don't know, they might have. But you know, all of that, he was the one. And when he got cast out, this is his kingdom. He is the king of the air down here. This is his realm. This is where he got cast down to. This is his realm. So that whole movies, singing, dancing, anything to do with entertainment seems to have a very dark. All I can think of is atmosphere, spirit around it. I guarantee if we would ever pull off the cloak off of all of it, we would probably be surprised at how many actors, entertainers, comedians, singers, dancers, you know, from ballet to tap dancing to all of that, that they have been on some level taken advantage of. If it wasn't physically, mentally, financially, I mean, it's just horrible. Yeah, I seen that, Martin. I don't know what's wrong with them people. Because they're trying to say that Governor Walz, it was his fault. How is it his fault that this man, he was crazy? They first tried to say that he was a Democrat. And it shouldn't even be about politics that these people got taken out. But taking it down now makes no sense because everybody screenshot it. What I know is that Diddy is not the head of any of this. He was just in it. He knew too many people that had too much money, had too much power in different areas. Okay, I use that so that you would be able to maybe identify with it better than somebody just paying you off. Because if you're down here on our level, most people ain't gonna get paid off. They're gonna get paid off, and maybe if it's on your job, you may get paid off by getting a raise or getting a promotion. Usually, if they ain't got no money, they just abusing you, and they scare you into not talking. Yeah. And yes, it is considered. Just because the person took the money does not mean that they didn't have the situation happen. That's just like people trying to say that Cassie shouldn't have got paid. Yes, she should have. I think that if somebody like that, you got the money and they're doing the stuff they're doing, there's nothing wrong with the person, the victim, getting paid. It doesn't take away what happened to them. You can't give that young lady enough money to take away what she's still dealing with now. She just got off of drugs in 2023. She has head injuries, things going on physically from being there, and then just the trauma behind it all. There's not $3 million or 30 million, whatever it was that she got, 30 million altogether, will make her and her children and her husband have a comfortable life. But when she's by herself during the dark times, there's not enough money that can take care of that. So just because somebody got paid off doesn't mean that the essay didn't happen. It just means that maybe they had been fighting with that person for so long that they knew that this type of person was not going to come out and tell the truth. They weren't going to get any justice. And depending on, like that person, they can pay off the judges, the lawyers, the police, and everybody else. So if they're going to give me the money, then I might as well get some money if I can't get nothing else. Am I making sense? You can't equate the money to the act. And Martin, yes, I see what the Orange Man is doing. And let me tell y'all something. I don't think he left the G7 because of Iran and Israel and Iran. I think he left because he was causing so many dang on issues, and he was making himself look like a jackass up there, embarrassing us. I mean, who goes to you're at a summit with all these other powerful leaders, and you sitting up there trying to make a plea for why Russia still needs to be a part of the group. Russia screwed up, so they got kicked out. I mean, I don't know what is his thing with Russia. I don't understand that. There were 70 people on his hit list. He was going to be a busy man. But I still think the wife should get accessories saying that she was going to meet him with all that stuff she had. Seemed like there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Mental health. That. Oh yeah. I hope that don't get offended by what I say, because you don't have to agree with me. Y'all know I'm gonna say my opinion. So that's why it is open for us to have dialogue and discussion. You know, me and Lovecraft gonna go back and forth on any topic. And so, whatever the case may be, y'all don't have to believe like me. Everybody has their own opinion, their own mindset, their own belief system and all that. We're just talking these things out. We're talking about what's going on. And if we don't agree, we can agree to disagree. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just telling you my viewpoint. You get to say your viewpoint in the chat. And yeah. And, you know, hopefully people don't get mad. I know people have gotten mad about my viewpoint, but that was the whole point of me kind of doing this where we just have open topics and talk about stuff, is because I like having conversations. I like being able to hear other people's viewpoints, even if I don't agree. And you may say something that may change my mind or make me think a totally different way. What happened to the comments? A victim willing participant? Well, I look at it like this. We've all been in relationships where, like I said before, if they took our phones and put our text messages up there in some of the relationships we had, because in the beginning it was great and we were saying all this stuff and we may be having sexy talk and all that, but then as time went on, maybe things wasn't that great and you got to see what type of person they really were. It's two different things. You can be a willing participant in something in the beginning, but if a person takes it just to the max, you may not want to be willing anymore. she might have been willing in the beginning, like she said. She didn't mind doing the little freak offs every now and then with him because she wanted to please him. But to do it every week for 2 or 3, 4 days, who wants to do that? Yeah, when I worked at the record store, they had warnings. I mean, I can't think of one woman who would want to do a freak off for 4 days. And then today they said that they were reading off like different charges. Like one place he had to pay the hotel $500, but one place literally he had to pay the hotel $46,000. What the hell did you do in the room that you did $46,000 worth of damage? What kind of freaky stuff is you doing? And whatever it is, I wouldn't want to be doing it with you if it's going to be $46,000 worth of damage at the end. I tip my hat to them for doing the things they did, because Deborah, yeah, he'd have kicked me to the curb a long time ago, or I would have kicked him. Cause, no sir, no ma'am, no Sam, no ham was I going to be doing all that they probably did. Yeah, she should have. I thought she had a gun. I knew she had passport and cash. I thought she had a gun. But they weren't even living together. He had a roommate living someplace else. So I'm like, what? Now, people are saying that he might walk. And you know what? I would be so disappointed in our justice system if he gets off. Because they didn't let Bill get off. And his stuff was really, really old. And all those women came out years later. They didn't let R. Kelly get off. And a lot of his stuff was old. So I think he has more. They have more stuff against him than they had against the other two. So I don't see why he should get off. Oh, you don't even bother me, Lovecraft. Somebody else got bothered? Yeah, Martina. You can come back to my hotel. I would have to tell him, sir, I'm sorry, but you did too much the last time when they would call to make a reservation. No, can't come. Can't come. Now, I don't think 47 is even thinking about him. The only way I think 47 would get him off is if they pay him some moolah. Because you know that couple, the Chrisleys, they gave him money. They gave him money. So now, if for a few million, he might go ahead and give him a pass. Well, now you got to remember, a lot of times when they're giving you people's stats as far as their financial situation, it's not all liquid cash. You know, they're taking in the fact that he got a plane. I don't know if he owned the boat. He had the houses. You know, he had the companies. He had, you know, the contracts with the liquor people and all that. The liquor stuff ain't there no more. I don't think he even got Sean John no more. I don't even know, you know, he may be getting residuals off the music stuff, but he ain't making no music. Do he still even have Bad Boys or any of that? Where's money coming in at now other than maybe residual money? Because the kids surely ain't making none. So, and then he's paying, from what I heard, these lawyers are getting paid. He's paying out a pretty penny every day for them lawyers. In the millions. So, you know, I'm not saying he won't have any left. I don't know how he has his money dispersed. But, yeah. After he finished paying these high-powered lawyers, and he would have got about 6, 7, 8 of them, I don't know, quite a few of them, and they all are big time lawyers getting paid big cha-ching. So yeah, we'll see. They were not SA abusers. Yeah, they said that that one hotel where she got the beat down at, they were saying that they would have to put the rooms that he was in, like they couldn't rent them out. They had to take them off the list for a day or two because they had to do deep cleaning. I'm sorry, Beverly. I would have been out before the the sores on my tongue because I don't know how long you have to get sores on your tongue, and then I'm sure that he had them filling up every orifice on her body, and I ain't into that either. So, yeah, in my mind, the things that I'm thinking that he probably had that young lady doing, because I mean, one time they were talking about it in court that it was 4 guys, and she was talking to, because she had a couple of them fly in, but it was like a marathon, so she was setting them up to make sure they each came at a certain time so they wouldn't overlap each other. Which means that, now mind you, he's sitting on the side filming and doing his little thing. She doing all the work? No. And you notice that he made sure that the videos were of her and the man, but not of him. Now I'm thinking he probably has some of him, and I would bet that he was participating on some level in those freak-offs, but so far ain't nobody came out and said it. I think that's why Cassie got the money she had, because I think that she did not tell everything she could have told, and I know darn well Jane Doe didn't, because she's still in love with him. Martin, I'm with you on that. I am with you on that, and I'm just trying to figure out how much worse can it possibly get, and I don't even want to think about it. And let me say this, and as Christians, you read the end of the Bible, so you know that all this stuff has to come to pass, and it's not like you don't think there isn't a God. But if we believe in the Bible and these things has to come to pass, then all this stuff is going to affect us on some level. Why are y'all things disappearing? Yeah, I thought that was really weird too. I know, but I'm saying she was doing all the work, Beverly. And they wasn't. He was cheap. He wasn't even giving them big time money like that. I mean, like, okay, you paying my rent. You buy me a little gift here and there. You take me places and all that, sir. From like with Jane Doe, they showed that the man was making more money a month than she was. So like I was saying, if we're in the last days, then these things were already written. And nowhere in there does it say that we wouldn't have to walk it out and deal with it. And nowhere in there does it say that Jesus or God comes down and rescue us from those trials and tribulations that's going to happen at the end time. There's a certain time for Jesus to come back and do what he's going to do. But up until then, you as a Christian got to have faith and walk it out. So do I think that I will survive through all the bull crap that we see going on? I do. But will it be hard as hell? Yes, it will. Is it going to affect me? Most definitely, because I'm still here. If you're still here on this realm, how do you think it's not going to affect you? I try to keep you guys abreast of whatever I hear and for us to talk about it so that you know. Because I don't know. Everybody lives in different places. Everybody got different groups of family members and all that. I don't know if you have somebody in your family that this might, affect. It may be that, a cousin or somebody or a neighbor or a co-worker or a friend or something might get picked up by ICE, and they don't know that these people can't literally detain them and all, and you can't sue ICE. You know, you can't sue them. Baby, first of all, he had the ability. Now, I'm going to give him credit for this. There are some people who are very good at being able to read other people and be able to, somebody said it earlier, to see their weaknesses, because every woman that he was with was missing something. They had, as beautiful as they were, they all talked about having low self-esteem, not believing in themselves. It was like they needed him to give them, you know, that push or tell them they're good at whatever they're doing and all that. And even if they came in feeling good about themselves, by the time he got through with them and he found out what your weaknesses was, you felt really, really bad. But he really did have the ability to attract women that had, they were lacking something. Because if he had gotten a woman that had high self-esteem and was real strong, he wouldn't have stayed with her. I'm sure there was some that came along, but he didn't stay with them. Just even Kim, for as beautiful as she was, you know, on some level, and I don't like to say damaged, but they might have been troubled. Y'all hold on, get me another Coors Light. Well, you know, don't nobody want the older women. We too, you know why? Because we don't live too long and can't run that type of game. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't older women that got still low self-esteem, but for the most part, by the time you get older, you done lived enough life to... Well, that's true. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So you know the lady that's over Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, the one that was having her little speech, and they stood up there while they detained that senator, and she said that she didn't know he was a senator, but he was a senior senator of the state of South Carolina, and y'all all be up there at the White House together, and you didn't know. But you came to the state to do a press conference, but you didn't check to see who the other government officials were that was there? Okay. But anyway, somebody talking about you reap what you sow, you sure do. Because right before I came on, they were rushing her to the hospital, and at first it was like they didn't know what was going on, but apparently she had an allergic reaction to something. Well, you know, about a month ago, somebody stole her purse. She was in some restaurant, and they stole her purse, stole her money, ID, and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know, things just keep happening to you, woman. You wonder why? Because when you do bad stuff to other people, you're going to have to reap it. Karma. What goes around comes around. Seed time and harvest. And you're just reaping yours in, you know, in this season. The same season that you're putting it out in, you're getting the reaping part back. Well, now Jane Doe didn't want to get in the music business. She met him through a girlfriend. Now, she met him. Her girlfriend was dating him, or at least hanging out with him. That's how she met him. Now, and her, her girlfriend was hanging out, messing around with him, and so he invited them to his house and on his boat and all this stuff. So she brought some girlfriends with her. She was one of the girlfriends that went. He was trying to pick her up the same weekend that she went, even though the girlfriend was there. That's how sleazy he is. I think she wanted somebody to take care of her. Let me ask you this. I don't know if I talked about it last time. Y'all tell me if I talked about it. I was listening to another content creator, and he was talking about those women who get their bodies altered and have those certain shapes, and they hang around the basketball players, the football players, the entertainers, and all that. If you notice, it's the same women that get passed around. Like, if you notice, like Shaq's wife, she was married to Shaq, but then she went to another guy, and I think she's with another guy now. If you notice that they always marry somebody that's within the money-making business, because, you know, you married to Shaq, you've been living in this big old house with all the cars and all the money and all that. You ain't trying to go down and get the guy that's the manager over at Target. He ain't making the same type of money. So same thing with these young ladies that hang out with the rappers and stuff. Even if you just the side piece or the girlfriend or whatever they call you, you know, the guys will throw you money, buy you purses, and take you on trips and all this stuff like that. But once you get into that world, you don't want to leave it. You're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. So you're always looking for another opportunity. So when the girlfriend took her on the trip and he was trying to talk to her, she told him no, she wouldn't do it because her girlfriend was dating him. But the girlfriend went off and got married, so that's when she said, well, why not? Yeah, they want to stay in their lifestyle. Well, OJ did some crazy stuff too. Yeah, killed her dog. I didn't know she was a goat killer too. They say it was an allergic reaction. I said it's her getting her karma back. Okay, hey one man, Wish. How are you? Well, you tell me this. Aren't we all used to a certain lifestyle? Look at where you're at now. Aren't you doing better now than you did when you were 21 or 19? Would you go back to when you didn't have nothing? Or would you, you're working to go higher? Right? I mean, I don't want to go back to when I didn't have anything. I much prefer where I'm at now. So I like the lifestyle that I have now. I mean, I ain't knocking them for that. If my lifestyle was hanging out with millionaires and billionaires and all that stuff, I don't necessarily want to go back to the guy that's only bringing $50,000 or $100,000 home. Nicole Murphy's another one. She messed up because she was dating that football player that became a news anchor on, what was it, CBS? I think he was really in love with her. And I don't know what she did. And he had bailed her because the money she got from Eddie Murphy, she had did a bad deal. Somebody scammed her pretty much out of her money. He gave her all the money back and was helping her out and all this. But I don't know what she did, but he dropped her like a hot potato because he was going to marry her. Well, they kind of all get passed around. If you look at it, you'll see different people with the same women, especially in the athletic area. The football players and basketball players, they'll divorce one and be with somebody else because they stay in the same group. And, the guys know this. Yeah, but what I'm saying, you want to keep going higher. You don't want to go back to when you didn't have. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. Because my thing is, they're trying, just like we're striving to get to a better place, they are too, just on a different level. Martin, I looked to see about going down there, but my thing was I done got to the age now. I'm like, I didn't want to walk as far as I was gonna have to walk to park my car and get to the Capitol building. And then I was like, where am I going to go to the bathroom once I get in the mix of all these people and I might have to go to the bathroom. So I figured I would stay home and support. So I stayed home and watched all of them, as many places as I could. I did send some money to this one guy that I watched. I think he calls himself Jolly Ginger, something like that. But he's a veteran, and there were some veterans that had went on Friday who decided they were going to sit on the Capitol steps and protest, but they went across the barrier that they had put up getting ready for Saturday. So they arrested them. Now, they arrested people that was in wheelchairs, on walkers, and all this stuff. And so they had a fund that was assisting the 60 people that got arrested to be able to bail themselves out of jail. So I contribute to that. Did anybody go? Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Beverly. Cassie talked about some of all the different stuff she got. I watch Midas Touch. I like them too, Karen. I watch them. They're Brian Cohen, something. I think that's his name. There's a few of the political ones that I watched that I like. And I didn't really care for Don Lemon that much when he was on CNN. I thought he was a little pompous. But now that he has his own YouTube channel, it's a totally different person. And I guess because he gets to be his authentic self now versus how he had to be when he was on CNN. Yeah. I can't believe that they're thinking about letting, because I used to like the guy, Chris Como, that used to come on either before or after Don when he was on CNN. And they always seemed to be like they were really good friends. He has now gone all the way right after he got fired for helping his horrible brother out, who is trying to run for governor again for New York. My thing is, if they let Como come back, one man wish, aren't you in New York? Y'all gonna let Como come back as the governor? Well, Martin, we live in a very materialistic world right now. So a lot of people compromise their morals and their values for money. Look at all them people in Congress. Look at all those representatives and senators that people voted in to go up there to represent us. And none of them are representing us like they should because they're going along with the foolishness. Oh, you decided to come in the house versus laying out? He's just so tired from camp. Now see, I gave you a bath yesterday and now you smell like outside. Well, yes you do. So you thought Como was a good governor? I, as a female, I'm sorry. He was into that SAN people too, so I can't get with it. But y'all have a lot of crooked politicians in New York, because that mayor, and Trump let him off. I wonder how much he paid him. No. Come here, Parker. Well, they say that they do. Let me see, was that all the topics that I had? We done talked about P. Diddy, government. But I think us as Americans, we should contribute on some level, whatever it may be for you. It may not be being out there in the marches. Because I've seen a lot of young people, which I was very happy. I very much support them. There's a lot of young people, and they're not gonna take this bullcrap, and that's why you have them fighting the police and all this other stuff, because our young people don't know how to deal with conflict and stuff like that very well. So, you try to push them out the way and get up in their face, they not having it. And I didn't know that for the ones who marched with Martin Luther King, like when they marched across the bridge in Selma and all that, they literally took the people who were going to be in the march and trained them for 6 months on how to deal with the police and how to deal with if they brought the dogs out, if they brought the hoses out, and if you had to go to jail and all this stuff like that. We're not doing that. But I do have to say, it was funny as all get out, especially if have y'all seen the clip that Governor Newsom did from California? It was so cute. Somebody in his office probably did it, but it showed all the different parades, and then it would go to a clip of all the protesting. Then it would go to a clip of the parade. Then it go back showing the protesters, and then the parade. That was a lot of money for nobody to be there. I think they said he had like maybe 20 to 40,000 people, but then a lot of them might have been just visiting Washington too. But he claimed it was going to be 250. And so they were the pictures that the State House took were pictures where you really didn't see the audience. But, in this day and age, people were going to show that there really weren't people there. I mean, you could hear the dang on tank coming down the road squeaking. Yeah, they didn't care about them being in wheelchairs, on walkers, or whatever. Less than 10,000? I was going to say, it didn't look like 20 or 40,000 to me. Yeah, but they threw them veterans down, handcuffed them, put them in that van, didn't care. I'm like, he's in a dang on wheelchair and the other one's on a walker. How they going to run from you? I think I did hear something about that new grad. Unfortunately, we are a group of people that they really don't care nothing about women. We are unalive at the hands of a man so many times in one day. Like here in South Carolina, we are always in the top 5 for domestic, for DV, and for women being unalived by their partners. So it's very sad, because nowadays, especially, well, you know what? I think it's worse now, but I really can't say. It could be that we just didn't hear about it as much before, because people pretend to be certain people, and you don't know who. You can live with somebody 15 years and not really know who they are. You don't know what's going on up here in somebody's head. You could be thinking that they really love you and everything is great, and they over here plotting to kill half the people in the neighborhood or something. You just don't know, And so you take a chance when you're with anybody. People just like to say it's online dating. It could be your coworker that you went to lunch with. It could be that you in the Home Depot going to buy curtain rods and somebody is mad up in there and they cut the food. Nowadays, you just don't know. I mean, it is very sad. And the saddest thing is that people don't care about us not being here. That's in your city 3 blocks from you. I mean, we are being unalived by the droves. And how many times do you really hear about what happens to women in the news. Unless it's something like, the woman, because she was in politics, her and her husband being unalive, or maybe something like the Petito girl. But every day there's like around the United States hundreds of women being unalive. Hundreds, I think it's like every 16 seconds or something like that, 16 minutes, a woman is being SA'd, not just SA, but all the way, raped. Horrific things happen to women every single day, all day, 24/7. When you're sleeping, some woman's getting beat and raped and unalived and everything. So, and you don't hear about it. I had thought about having a segment on my channel where I talked about here locally the women who were unalive or missing and all that stuff, and it was just overwhelming. When I started doing the research and started getting information coming in, it was so many. I could not believe how many it was just in my state. So, yeah. That is a cause that I think all women should be concerned about, but even we aren't. We don't really discuss it. It's very sad that for all the change that was out there for women, this man is rolling it back. Like I heard on Saturday, I literally cried about this one. It has taken years for women who were in the military to be able to get recognized for when anything happened to them. It was like you're supposed to suck it up. You want to be in here with the men, and you just suck it up and take whatever you get. So they finally started having programs where women could report if somebody was harassing them and all this kind of stuff. Do you know that those asses up in D.C., HeadSeth, has cut all programming pertaining to women being able to report anything that happens to them while they're active duty military or guard or whatever. So now, if you get raped and you're in the military, you don't have nobody to go to. And see, for years, they never talked about it. They weren't going to talk about it because they didn't want that information getting out. And normally, the woman was made to believe that it was her fault and she shouldn't even be reported, especially if it was higher ranking. This guy has decided that the military should be comprised of just Caucasian men. He has stripped all of, the no axe and no tail thing, all of that's gone. So if you're in the LGBTQ community, they want you out. If you're female, they want you out. And if you're of color, they want you out. You're pretty sure that what's not true, and they twisted it Braveheart. Are you saying the thing about the females not being covered? Oh, that's very true. Yes, it is. Because HeadSeth has gotten rid of a lot of programs that was in the military. Sure have. Shoot, they just got where at VA they had the women's clinic just a few years ago. They can report it, but they're reporting it to up in their chain of command, which normally is comprised of a lot of women, depending on definitely what field you're in and what if you're in the Marines, Air Force, depending. They don't care. You can report it and get nothing done. So yes, it's very sad. My son went in the guard, and 2 of the females that he went through basic training with got raped at their very first base from first dates, going out with other military members, and nothing was done to those young men, and both of them got out because of that. because nothing was done. Because it's he say, she say. And even with that, even if you go to the hospital and hopefully you can get a kit or whatever done, they still don't want that kind of stuff being out. They're very much going to take up for the person got more rank than the other person, and they're very much going to take up for the male. I mean, did y'all not see where you've had all, and I guess I still keep abreast of it. Like I said, I'm a veteran. Like the young lady at Fort Hood, they had 5 individuals unalived at Fort Hood, all behind a big old conspiracy thing, but not conspiracy, but a whole thing that they had going with the higher rankings, and they were really taking advantage of the younger ones. And when the younger ones, they actually got 2 of them got on social media trying to tell it, and then they disappeared. And then one told their friend, and they unalived him. And if it went for the family, just putting up, they were just not going to let it go, even though the military said they did an investigation. But when the family hired somebody to do one, that's when they finally found the young lady, and they were able to finally find out what really happened, which it was at the hands of her supervisor. Yeah. You can say grape or something like that, or SA, but yeah. Please do. I think there was one just in North, for whatever reason, Fort Bragg, Fort Hood. What's the one in North Carolina? They seem to have where there's a lot of issues with, especially for the Army. Well, are you prior military, Braveheart? And I come and I say these things because I don't know, some of you may have family members that are in. You never know. Your children may go in, your grandchildren may go in, and you just never know what can happen when a person's in certain career fields. I can't, my plan is in the way. Oh, nobody cares. Nobody cares because it's females. Let me tell you something. Old people, children, and women, we're like the lowest on the totem pole. Lowest on the totem pole. I mean, because you look, just like with the Diddy case. I've heard more people call that young girl a HOE and money grabber, and what's the, when the women's trying to get the money from the men. But I didn't hear them say anything about the man's behavior, even if she was with him for his money. That still didn't mean that she deserved the treatment of being dragged down the hall on a regular basis and being beat up and all this stuff. I just never hear them talk about the behavior of the man. Oh, the beard waiver? I told you, y'all, see, I say this stuff and people don't believe me. I just told you that Head Stuff is trying to get rid of women, people of color, and anybody that's in the LGBTQ. He wants an all-Caucasian military because they believe that's the ones who, that's what a real military should be. They want it back like in the 1940s and 50s. Now, I don't know what type of military service they think, I don't know who they, I don't know. I don't know how they figure they're going to be trying to get us into wars and who's going to go over there and fight. But the whole purpose of the dang on beard waiver is because African American men hair curled back in and they were getting pseudofugliosis. And get all the bumps and stuff. So that's why they're able to get a beard waiver, because they don't get the bumps because the hair grows out and it doesn't, it doesn't affect the face. I mean, I'm thinking you're over all of the military. All of it. Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Air Corps, Guard, all of the military. And you have time to sit there and say, you want to get rid of programs for women and a beard waiver for men. You mean to tell me that this stuff going on with Israel and Iran and all the other stuff ain't enough to keep you busy, that this is something that's on the chopping block? That's what I don't understand. Why do they have time for the foolish stuff that they be doing when they're supposed to be running our country and all that stuff? Is it just me? Or is it that I'm the only one that think that they should have more important things to do in their day? I don't know. I guess I think the biggest part of me is I still can't believe that people dislike other people so much just because of the color of their skin. This has been a mind-boggling thing for me for my whole life. I just don't understand that. I have never been a person that just don't like you because of your race. If I don't like you or don't want to be with you, it's because of you as a person. I could care less what color you are. I don't care what race you are, what gender you are, any of that. It's just you as a person that I can't get along with. But I don't know what type of upbringing do you have that is so deep-seated in you that you would mess up millions of people because of this hatred, this basic hatred of people because they don't look like you. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. I really don't. It's almost 9 o'clock. I said I was going to do an hour. Alright, anything y'all want to talk about before I get off here? Mm-hmm. Martha, how come when you put a comment in, it always be like, it repeats itself like 2 or 3 times? Anything, let's see, is there any, let me leave on an uplifting note on this. Let's see, something good. Well, how many of y'all got Juneteenth off on Thursday? I do, but I'll probably work. Anybody else got Juneteenth off? What is it? Or y'all just not putting no comments in? Y'all gonna talk back to me? What? Parker, get in here. I won't again. Oh, all right. Well, we hope all is well, new grad. Get down. All right. I said I was gonna stay an hour, and I stayed 2. Let me get off of here and go upstairs and make up my bed so that it'll be made up when I get in there. And these mosquitoes are tearing me up. I got big old lumps everywhere. And you guys have a wonderful night. And who knows when I might pop back on here. Maybe I'll do Wednesday. Oh, that's tomorrow. Maybe I'll do tomorrow since I ain't got to work necessarily on Thursday. Maybe I might come on tomorrow since I don't have to work on Thursday. But you guys have a wonderful night. Me and Parker say happy Tuesday. And I'm starting to yawn already. I try to be in the bed by 9 or 10. Get down, you smell like... I gave him a bath yesterday because he had camp today and now he smells like outdoors. He needs another bath. So he could look cute when he went to camp. Stop. Where is my... You know what I'm looking for. Where is it? All right, everybody. You have a wonderful night. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having the conversation with me. Get down. And I enjoy talking to you. No. And yeah, let me handle my child, because he's going to get beat. So y'all have a good night. Thumbs up the video. And if you're new and you're not subscribed, I never say this. I should start saying it. Please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Good night, Janice. Me and Parker say bye. Would you stop? I don't know, as soon as I get on here, he just really cuts the food. Bye, y'all. Stop.